Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how to copy an angle. We need the following tools. We need our compass, we need a straight edge, and I have a couple of, a blue and a pink pencil or marker, so we can make some different markings, you can see. So first of all, we need an angle that we're going to copy. And it can be any kind of angle. It can be obtuse, it can be acute. So I'm going to draw an angle here that has a ray going in this direction, and it's going to have another ray going in this direction. They have a common endpoint right here, which is what makes it an angle. Two rays with a common endpoint that are not collinear. So now I'm going to give the name to this angle. I'm going to call this the angle HJK. So there's the angle that I have. And the main thing you do when you copy an angle is you do not use a protractor. This is not a construction tool for us. This is just I'm going to measure to see how accurate, or I could use this as a straight edge on this side, but you don't use this to measure, just like we don't use a ruler to measure lengths. We use a compass. This is our length measuring device. So we're going to copy this angle. We have to pick a place where we're going to copy it. And so I'm going to copy it right over here, which means I just need a place where I'm going to copy it. Now I'm going to do this where it's going to end up looking a little bit different, because you're seeing the angle going over here. And when I copy it, it's going to be over here. It doesn't matter the orientation. Is the measure of this angle, HJK, the same as the measure of the copy? So the first thing, after I draw where I'm going to copy it, I draw my first copy, which is the vertex, point J. So I pick a point on this. This is technically a line. I'm not going to draw the arrows, though. This is the copy of point J. So I'm going to write J with a little prime symbol saying that is the copy of J. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my compass to do some measuring. So I'm going to measure by picking a comfortable distance, which is about an inch. I usually go from the thumb joint of my thumb to the end of my thumb. That's because for me, that's a comfortable distance to spin to make a circle. And I'm going to make a circle at the vertex of the original angle. So I'm going to do circle J, but I'm only going to draw as much of circle J that fits inside of this angle and intersects the two sides. So I place my compass very carefully at point J, and now I'm going to spin it where I'm just going to draw the part of the circle that intersects the two sides. So I have these 2 points of intersection. I'm going to call one of them point P and one of them point Q. Okay. Now, I very carefully make sure I do not change this opening. We picked a radius. When we pick this distance, that's the radius of the circle. And I have still on my compass the radius of circle J. I need to copy that circle over here, so I have to have circle J prime. So I'm going to do a circle, and it's going to intersect where I'm going to copy it, and some distance, I need it to be about the same length of arc as that one, or a little bit more. So I'm going to put my pointer at J prime, and I know my hand's going to get in the way, but I'm going to draw my arc so that it is at least as big as the one I did over here, but a little bit more. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do now is I have this one here, and I have this copy of it, which means I also, if I'm going to call this the ray J prime K prime, this right here is the copy of P. So I'm going to put P prime. So I've copied point P from the original over to the copy. I'm going to use my measuring tool, which is this. This is my measuring tool. And I'm going to measure the distance from P to Q, and then I have to copy that distance from P prime to wherever Q prime goes on this arc. So this is a very careful measuring. You're going to be holding it straight up and down like this. I'm going to show it this way. I'm trying to open it from P to Q, and it's not quite right, so I have to hold it straight up and down and get that very accurate. And when I get it, I have to mark in the original. Just a second, it needs a tiny bit more. This is really there. I think I went too far. That's too far. Okay, there we go. That's just right. I'm going to mark in the original, meaning I'm like X marks the spot, and I'm showing that I have opened it up the appropriate distance from P to Q. This mark is important because it shows whoever is looking at your work that you actually measured from P to Q. I come over to the copy, and over at the copy I place my pointer at P prime, and I'm just going to make that same little X mark on the arc, and that point of intersection right there is where Q prime, the copy of Q, goes. So this is Q prime. And now all I need to do is take my straight edge, and I'm going to draw the ray from J prime through Q prime, and there's my copy. Now, again, it's not that they are both facing the same direction. It has to do with their measures. To be a copy is I can measure this angle. So if I measure this angle here, I'm going to put this on the ray JK. I'm holding it just right. There it is. Oh, wow. I didn't realize I did that. It looks like I actually did a 90-degree angle. Well, I did, you saw it was just haphazard, but that ended up being a 90-degree angle. So the original looks to be about 90 degrees. I could be off by 1 degree there, but around 90 degrees. Now, if my copy is within 3 degrees, meaning it could be all the way as big as 93 or as small as 87, I would consider that a pretty good construction. So if it's within 3 degrees, high or low. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to measure this. And lo and behold, this is a little bit more than 90 degrees. What I copied looks to be about 91 to 92, I think. I'll say it looks to be like 91.5 degrees. So is it exactly the same? No. Is it very close? Yes. Does it have the appropriate marks? Yes. There's always going to be some possibility of human error, like did I accidentally not make this measurement perfect and it's a tiny bit off? It might be, but I've got the construction marks that showed that I did the construction. So that's copy and angle.